just be, I'm ignoring this. It will be, your titles are stripped. You are.
We'll see their dukedoms and HRA.
After years of escalating tensions, public controversies, and relentless media scrutiny, King Charles III made a historic and unprecedented decision that sent shockwaves through both the British monarchy and the global public sphere. He officially revoked the royal titles of his younger son, Prince Harry, and his wife, Meghan Markle, stripping them of their Duke and Duchess of Sussex designations. No longer would they be addressed as such. They were simply Harry and Meghan, a couple who had repeatedly tested the boundaries of royal protocol and, in the eyes of many within the institution, pushed the crown to its breaking point. This move, described in palace circles as long overdue, marked the culmination of exhaustion rather than sudden anger, a monarch worn down by continual turmoil, embarrassing revelations, and failed attempts at reconciliation. The roots of this drastic action stretched back to the late Queen Elizabeth II's reign, when Harry and Meghan first announced their intention to step away from senior royal duties in what became known as Megxit. At that time, the Queen had imposed clear conditions. They could pursue independent lives, but they were forbidden from using their His/Her Royal Highness styles in any official or commercial capacity. Promises were made, assurances given, yet reports soon emerged that Meghan continued to employ the HRH designation in private correspondence, defying the explicit orders of the late monarch. This quiet act of disobedience reportedly shattered the last vestments of trust within the family and the palace advisory team. It was not merely a breach of protocol. It struck at the core of royal integrity, a wound that festered as the couple built their post-royal empire in California. King Charles, upon ascending the throne, had hoped to foster an era of harmony and unity. Instead, his early reign was overshadowed by the absent Sussexes, who, from 6,000 miles away in Montecito, dominated headlines not through dutiful service, but through controversy, confessional interviews, a tell-all memoir, and Netflix documentaries that critiqued the very institution that had bestowed their titles. Charles attempted to overlook these provocations, prioritizing his role as a father over that of a king. He endured the public airing of private family grief, the transformation of personal pain into profitable content, and the endless cycle of media opportunities that followed every gesture of leniency. Yet, even paternal forgiveness has its limits, particularly when mercy is weaponized against the monarchy itself. Behind the scenes, the decision unfolded over months of internal deliberation. Royal advisors pressed the king with unwavering firmness. The monarchy could no longer project weakness or indecision. Every instance of hesitation eroded public confidence in the crown. A line had to be drawn, and only the sovereign possessed the authority to draw it. Charles wrestled with the choice, torn between familial love and institutional duty, but ultimately resolved to protect the monarchy from further chaos, even if that chaos originated from his own bloodline. Titles, he concluded, carry immense weight and demand corresponding responsibility. They are not mere ornaments to be retained amid rejection of obligation. When whispers of the impending revocation reached Montecito, Meghan reportedly dismissed them as baseless tabloid speculation. She had constructed a formidable public persona around her Duchess title, leveraging it for philanthropic endeavors, commercial partnerships, and media projects. Invitations to events, podcast introductions, and even her emerging lifestyle brand all hinged on the prestige of Duchess of Sussex. The thought of losing this connection was not just professional, it was existential, threatening the foundation of her influence and relevance. Harry, meanwhile, attempted to mitigate the emotional impact on his wife, advocating for patience, though he too appeared profoundly unsettled by the implications for their family identity. In the Sussex household, the atmosphere shifted from denial to strategic determination. Meghan's team mobilized quietly, drafting statements and consulting allies, but found little room for maneuver. The palace's resolve was ironclad, communicated not through fanfare, but via a sealed royal decree. Silence from Buckingham Palace amplified the message more powerfully than any press release could. For Meghan, accustomed to curating her narrative as a modern woman escaping institutional constraints, this institutional retaliation represented a profound loss of control. What she framed as empowerment, the crown interpreted as exploitation. Her American reinvention, once promising independence, now exposed the hypocrisy of clinging to royal associations while decrying them. Prince William, the heir to the throne, played a pivotal behind-the-scenes role in precipitating this outcome. Having observed years of interviews, accusations, and documentaries that vilified his family, he reached a point of quiet but unyielding resolve. Sources within Kensington Palace described him meeting regularly with senior advisors to formulate a comprehensive plan. A letters patent that would not only address the Sussexes, but streamline titles across the extended family. This decree aimed to eliminate outdated peerages, restrict royal designations, and extend to figures like Prince Andrew and the York line. William viewed it as essential reform, painful yet vital to preserve the monarchy's viability for future generations. He conveyed his position to his father with calm conviction, warning that failure to act now would leave him inheriting a compromised institution. Public sentiment in Britain had long tilted toward frustration with the Sussexes. Initial curiosity about their new life gave way to indignation over perceived hypocrisy, rejecting royal duties while profiting from royal prestige. Newspapers decried the royal circus, social media overflowed with memes highlighting contradictions, and polls indicated majority support for title removal. The official royal website's continued listing of Harry and Meghan among family members fueled further outrage, granting them undue legitimacy. Once the revocation was finalized, their profiles were swiftly archived under a past members section, portraits removed, a digital erasure symbolizing the end of their era. The decision extended beyond the couple to their children, Archie and Lilibet, whose potential princely titles were rendered moot. In Montecito, this raised concerns about birthrights and legacy, but palace insiders emphasized that titles are tied to service, not mere lineage. The Sussexes' California existence, private education, high security, occasional media appearances, existed far removed from royal responsibilities. This action drew inevitable comparisons to Prince Andrew's scandal, where he retained his Duke of York title despite losing duties over Epstein associations. Critics highlighted the double standard, arguing that leniency toward Andrew while tolerating the Sussexes' conduct undermined fairness. Charles, learning from past mistakes, ensured the revocation was broad and equitable, signaling no exceptions for family members bringing dishonor or commercial conflict. Parliament's involvement added another layer of complexity. MPs from across parties expressed growing unease over the monarchy's perceived inaction, drafting proposals like a royal titles bill to empower revocations with legislative backing. Though constitutionally delicate, this pressure underscored the crisis of legitimacy facing the institution. The monarchy could no longer rely on tradition alone. It needed to defend itself against internal erosion. In the immediate aftermath, social media erupted with trending hashtags, debates, and polarized opinions. Supporters hailed Charles for restoring backbone, while detractors cried cruelty and bias. Yet, even in America, sympathy for the Sussexes waned. Their victim narrative had been overplayed. Meghan's team pivoted to themes of resilience, but the optics remained damaging. Harry, reportedly more focused on familial fallout, grappled with the permanence of estrangement. The revocation also intersected with broader royal modernization efforts. William, prioritizing his wife's recovery and young family, envisioned a slimmed-down monarchy free from peripheral distractions. Rumors circulated of further title adjustments under his future reign, potentially affecting Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. This necessary surgery, as one insider termed it, aimed to halt the bleeding of scandals that had overshadowed charitable work, tours, and health updates. Meghan's continued use of royal styling post-Megxit exemplified the core issue: monarchy mixed with marketing. Her ventures, Netflix series opening with insignia, podcasts billing her as Duchess, blurred sacred boundaries the late Queen had safeguarded for decades. Charles, honoring his mother's legacy, saw the decision as restoration rather than retribution. The Queen's final grace, a promise against commercial exploitation, had been broken, turning her bond into a slogan. As the dust settled, the monarchy reclaimed narrative control. For the first time in years, Sussex dramas did not eclipse institutional milestones. The Crown, through decisive action, redefined itself in a media-saturated age. Titles earned via duty, not deployed for gain. In Montecito, adaptation began amid livid reactions and emergency meetings, but the palace's message endured, firm, final, and unyielding. This episode revealed the monarchy's vulnerabilities in the digital era, where perception battles tradition. Charles' hesitation, rooted in fatherly guilt, gave way to governance. William's foresight prepared for succession. Public polls, parliamentary whispers, and website updates all converged to force change. The Sussexes, once global figures of fascination, now confronted a reality stripped of royal veneer, influence without institution, brand without birthright. Harry's alleged final plea to his father, framing the revocation as punishment of the first biracial duchess, invoked history and conscience, but advisors counted that conduct, not race, dictated the outcome. Bending to headline fears would render the monarchy ungovernable. Charles, sleepless over the dilemma, chose institutional survival. The website's digital exorcism epitomized the shift. No leaks, no drama, just erasure. For Meghan, master of image, this silent deletion devastated more than headlines. It logged out their royal chapter permanently. Broader implications lingered for the Yorks, with Andrew's retained title a lingering hypocrisy now addressed in reform discussions. The king's broad approach ended selective mercy, ensuring consistency. Social media's firestorm trended globally, but palace silence prevailed. Commentators noted the narrative flip. Monarchy is resolute, Sussexes as overexposed. In California, determination replaced disbelief. Statements emphasized forward movement, but relevance faded without the crown's glow. Harry's concerns centered on children, echoing birthright debates, yet duty defined entitlement.